Hi YouTube, what's up? My name is Ellie, and I'm a trans guy and a non-binary person, for lack of a better word. Welcome to my channel. So if this is your first time watching me, I've been filming myself for the past 3 years because I've been on testosterone, and it's been a wild journey for me. I started on a very low dose, and I'm kind of at a full dose now, and I'm recording my changes, my physical changes, and some of my reflections on gender and on myself along this journey. So hi, welcome. It's been a while since my last video. I think I haven't updated in like 4 or 5 months, but I could be wrong. It could be longer. So yeah, let's get down to it. Let's start with the physical stuff, and I think I'm gonna put all the blah blah on what I think about the world, in a different video. So just a quick update. My beard has been growing like crazy. I thought I wouldn't like it, but I actually really do. It's been one of those moments where I started passing as a dude 100% as soon as this scruff came in. And if you guys want to take a look, it's it's kind of filled in by now. I suppose it could always get better. But I do like the fact that I have a line that goes all the way through. And I take a great deal of attention to kind of shave this part because it kind of grows wild and free. I haven't lost any hair on my head yet, but it's in my jeans. So we're just waiting for that to start. And my eyebrows have been looking thick, which I really like. So I've been using minoxidil preventively, just to hope I don't lose too much hair. And it kind of feels like instead of losing hair, it's been kind of growing in. So I might, I might slow down on using that. Minoxidil is a non-hormonal hair loss treatment, and I've been using it without asking anybody because I'm an asshole like that. But I really recommend that you guys take it to your doctor. Okay, what else can I say? Changes, physical changes. I always feel like I don't even know when my sensation of hunger or sweat or my body odor changes. Um, so I don't usually talk about that. Um, let's do a quick bottom update. So if you're family or if you know me from real life and we wouldn't talk about it, please mute the video until I do this, okay? Because I'm gonna talk like genitals now. So of course, if you don't want to hear genital talk, then also mute the video or don't watch it. It's up to you. It's your time. I'm recording this shit because I think it's important for people and they want to know. So and definitely I'm doing it for me too. So I'm gonna go there in 3, 2, 1. Mute if you don't want to listen now. Okay, so I've been experiencing bottom growth, which is really great for me because it makes me feel great with my body. So what I have now would be equivocable to, I guess, almost my pinky, which is great for me. I never like knew it was possible with testosterone to have kind of a baby dick, and I'm super happy to have one. It makes me feel a lot less dysphoric. Now, as far as menstruation goes, I haven't had my period since I started taking half of the dosage I'm on right now. So something you need to know about me, I started on a super low dose and it kind of went up gradually. So for the past 10 months or so, I've been on a full dose, which is 50 milligrams of gel, topical gel that I apply every day. And I haven't been getting my period since before that. So I think the moment I went up to 25, I stopped getting my period altogether, which is like, would that be like 2 years now? 2.5 years? 2.5 years kind of sounds like a right approximation. I don't miss it. I didn't mind it back when I had it, but I definitely don't miss it. Okay, so that's that. As far as function goes, I would say I have complete and satisfactory function in all of my reproductive system. I do enjoy the reproductive system that I've been giving, and I don't really feel dysphoric about that, which I know kind of makes me maybe not the most, classic trans guy. but that's the way I feel. And right now I'm not even considering like bottom surgery or any kind of modification to my genitals. So I'm kind of happy with that. I know a lot of dudes experience, well, dudes is not a fair term, but people assigned female at birth who are on testosterone also experience like vaginal dryness or infections or anything like that, and I don't. So yay me. I I'm surprised about that because my diet hasn't been on point in the past year or so with confinement and the rest of it. And yeah, so I thought I would have like more adverse effects, but the truth is that I'm just fine. I don't have any kind of problem with any kind of secretions. It kind of embarrasses me to talk about it, I guess you can tell. But I want you to know that I find myself in good health, genital-wise, and that I'm not considering any kind of surgeries, that I haven't menstruated, and that with the bottom growth that I've experienced, I really feel great. Okay, so now we're going back to talk about stuff that's not menstruation, which I guess the most important one would be voice. I think my voice has definitely gone down a little bit. I'm still used to using like a higher register when I talk, and I'm trying to work on that so that I can actually use the ability of my voice to go as low as it does now. You guys want to see what I look like? So let's take the shirt off, because we love taking shirts off in this channel. Okay, so yeah. I'm really not sure how much I've grown, if at all, but yeah, I always get that feeling like I haven't grown, and then I look at the videos and I'm like, yeah, you know what, over the past course of however much years, I have grown, so that's cool. Okay, I'm gonna try and keep the shirt off because I know you guys, you people, appreciate that, and I definitely appreciate that looking back at my own videos to kind of see myself without any kind of, like, that I can see my whole body, because I know it's really important to me to see, like, the width of my pelvis and how do my shoulders look compared to that, and I imagine if it's important for me, it's important for other people too. Okay, so, what have I been up to? Jeez, I'm still in Spain. I couldn't go home to visit my family in Israel, which is my country of origin, for like 11 months there. And that was kind of shitty because I really missed my family and my friends, and I haven't been there in a while, so I really wanted to go. I ended up going... That's a wild story. I ended up being invited by a friend to attend her wedding at December, like midway through December. She bought me a ticket, which was amazing because I couldn't afford a ticket, and I went to Israel, and I stayed there for about a month, and 2 days before I was scheduled to fly back to Barcelona, the government closed the airport, so I had to catch a flight and disappear within 14 hours, or I would have still been there right now. So I did that, and that was a horror story, which I might go into in a later video, but I made it, and I'm here. I experienced Israel, which is, kind of different now that I'm trans, and the biggest difference was that I felt that it was very inhospitable to me and trans people in general. I felt like people were constantly asking me very personal questions and kind of putting all their like baggage that has to do with gender directly on me without any kind of filter, and it really was exhausting. And I felt that I had to explain about trans issues and trans identity and my identity and sort of crusade for it, which was not fun at all. But in the process, I was able to kind of work through a lot of my own prejudice, I guess, and internalized shame. And by defending my identity to basically everyone I know, I was also able to feel a lot more secure in it, which kind of doesn't make sense, but then again it does. It was kind of like being a teenage lesbian all over again, because when I was a dyke, it wasn't the most accepted thing in Israel. Like, I came out during high school, and it must have been like 20 years ago, and being a dyke 20 years ago in like a little rural town, it wasn't that much of a thing. Like, it wasn't bad, like, getting beaten up bad, but it wasn't like a thing either. Like, I had to wade through a lot of misconceptions growing up, and I kind of felt like I had to do that again in Israel with my trans identity, just a lot more pronounced. Family that haven't seen me in a year were kind of looking at me like, kind of like missing a beat. And that was partly due to me to not uploading or sending any photos of the beard or any clips of my voice. But it was also like due to them just not knowing how testosterone works and not really contacting me through this time. So I guess it was kind of a big one, because it did change a lot in a year. And my family was overall very accepting. They are. And maybe it took them a moment, but they really did rally up behind me and kind of like unanimously said that they support me and they want me to be happy, and they always defend me to anyone from the outside. So that's super cool, and I'm super grateful for their acceptance and support. And I really wish that each and every one of you people watching me also has a family that is just ready to get behind them, whether or not this is the first trans person that they see in their whole lives. I really wish that to everybody, because it does give you like a very strong basis. And then what else? And then it was everybody else. So you have to understand that Israeli people, it's a culture of direct questions. So I was asked everything from my genitals to my identity to my pronouns to my process to my family relations to why I'm like this and why aren't I different, and how did I discover this, and what do I think about any kind of gender issue under the sun. And I have to say most of those questions came from a slightly, at least, misunderstanding place, if not completely uninformed and partially transphobic. So, like, most of the people in Israel have no idea what trans people are. Non-binary people, like, hardly any kind of clue about anything. And then, yeah, and I felt like I had to fill in a lot of missing information to anyone who was asking in goodwill. And most of them were like asking, good faith questions like, what is this? What is that? How are you this? Why are you that? And I kind of did my best to inform them, but it was also exhausting. And I also felt like they were asking complicated questions, but had a very short span of attention to listen to the answer, which was frustrating as fuck, because the answer is not short or easy. Like, if I have to make you understand a concept which you've never had to think about in your life, it's gonna take you more than 3 seconds, but I felt like I was getting better at sort of explaining what it was like, and I feel like I kind of want to do a little bit of work around that in the future, and kind of like make videos that kind of explain my views on gender and how I perceive myself and how I view myself, because it might be useful to someone else who has to do this work, and it sure as hell is going to be good for me to just kind of put myself out there, because I've seen that it does help me kind of gain confidence. Okay, that was that, and I was completely reassured that I do not want to live in Israel as a transgender person, and I really do salute everyone who does, because it's a tall task, it's a tall order, and you guys are doing, I don't want to see God's work because I don't believe in God, but you're doing some kind of high order of work, explaining and representing and just being your own identity in a place that is kind of treading in the, kind of at the back of the class when it comes to this sort of acceptance thing compared to the modern world. So that was that. And on another level, Israel is going through a really hard economic crisis right now due to coronavirus, and the corrupted authorities are really not helping anybody, and everybody that I knew took a financial hit or a personal hit, or well, an altogether hit would be a good way to describe it. And that was kind of sad to see, but at the same time, you know, being with my friends and family was awesome. And there's something about immigrating which makes you kind of lose your status. You know, back in Israel, I have a lot of respect. I'm known as a physical therapist. I'm respected as a teacher. I'm known as an acrobat. And out here, I am a nobody, and I'm just a foreigner with you know, a bunch of weird titles from places that nobody knows. And back at home, I was kind of like, you know, king of my castle. So there I go, spilling my coffee. So that was great, and it was hard to let go of that. And it was really hard to say goodbye to my family. I have a new nephew. I really missed my mom, and my friends are like, you know, the best friends ever. So that sucked. But I am happy to be here and to be job hunting, which might take me to the next level of getting like a residency, which is somewhat permanent, with a future in Europe, because it is clear to me that I do not want to go back to the Middle East. No, thank you. Okay. To everyone out there, I hope the world has been treating you kindly lately. And the last thing that I'm gonna say is I discovered that I need top surgery, and I have been working really hard to make that happen in Israel, but it seems like it's not going to. So I'm going to start some kind of a monetization thing so I can ask people to help me with getting my top surgery done. So you're going to see some of that in the future. And I think if you ask for money, you should always do some work in return. So what I thought about doing is starting to make videos about, you know, my life as a trans person and my views on the subject. And, you know, if anybody finds any value with that, I hope that would be kind of my way to do a service for the community, in exchange for what I'm asking, which is help with my procedures. So you'll see that happening soon as I figure out what kind of platform is the best idea to do that. Maybe Patreon or I've heard a bunch of names being thrown around. So I really want to get something that makes it clear that the purpose of the money is only top surgery. And I really want it to be accessible for people to be able to help me from throughout the world. So there's a little bit of work that needs to go into that. And yeah, I'm kind of excited to start making videos about, you know, my stupid little thoughts on gender, because I've had a lot of time to think about gender, and I made some notes and I hope it's worth it, you know, and if it is worth it, I'm sure you guys are going to let me know. Okay, much love to everybody that's been watching, and I hope the world treats you well today.